My fellow car enthusiasts, welcome back! I am Alex the Car Guy and I review cool car gadgets and other accessories that I find for your vehicle, such as dash cams. So if those are the kind of videos you like, make sure you subscribe by hitting the button down below to see more videos like this. And on this video, I'll be showing you how I install a mirror dash cam on my vehicle. Now I'm always installing mirror dash cams because I'm always testing them, so I thought I would show you the best tips and tricks that I have found over the years of installing them. I'll show you the installation process for a standard strap style mirror dash cam, and then I'll show you the installation process for a direct mount mirror dash cam, which completely eliminates the straps and completely eliminates the original mirror in the car and replaces it with a digital rear view mirror. Then I'll show you the installation of the rear camera. Now the rear camera can be positioned inside of the vehicle, and after I show you how that looks, I'll show you how it looks when the rear camera is mounted on the outside of the vehicle and how different the process is. As always, I have placed links in the description down below to the different tools that you'll see me use on this video, as well as any other products that you see on this video as well, in case you want to check them out further or acquire one for yourself. But with that being said, let's get started. And the very first thing I'm going to do before beginning the installation of a dash cam is disconnect the battery of the vehicle. Now most installers are only going to disconnect the battery if they run into wires or connectors that have to be disconnected in the process of installing a dash cam. I just like to do it up front, that way if I do run into any connectors or wires or cables in the process of installation, the battery is already disconnected. This is also going to ensure that I don't throw any kind of codes or check engine lights if there's anything I need to unplug in the vehicle while I'm installing the dash cam, and it also makes it safer for the installer to have no power in any of the areas that we're going to be working on. And the first step is going to be to mount the mirror dash cam on top of my original mirror. Now there are two ways of doing this. The first way is with the existing mounting straps from the mirror dash cam. I'm going to place the dash cam over my mirror, and then I'm going to use the silicone straps to secure it to the mirror. Notice how I kind of center that over my mirror, and then I hold it while I put the straps in place. And that's it, mounting is complete. But now let's look at the second way. If I want to entirely remove the original mirror, I can remove that by removing this screw that's located in the bottom. Now this is only going to work if the dash cam I'm installing has already been converted to a direct mount style. If you have not seen that video, I'll put a link to that video in the description down below. As you can see, this mirror is going to have to be disconnected. And that's probably the disadvantage of going to a direct mount version, is that you will lose any kind of lights that are on the mirror or any kind of functionality on the mirror, such as a garage door opener. So first I'll disconnect this cable back here, and now with that cable disconnected, I can loosen the screw that holds the mirror. Then I'm gonna pull the mirror right off. Now all I gotta do is hide this cable, and I'm gonna do that by inserting this into the trim of the car. Now it does help to have a little spatula, but I like to use my fingers just to make sure that I'm not pulling too hard on the panel and making that connector disappear completely. And mounting the direct fit mirror dash cam is the reverse of the removal. I'm just gonna slide this into the bracket, and then I can re-tighten the screw in the bottom to secure the mirror in place. And that's it, mounting is complete. Now I can begin to install each cable, and I'll start with the GPS antenna, which I like to place on the passenger side. I'm simply feeding the cable into the trim to make it disappear, and I like to do this with my hands just by feel. However, there are some trims that are a little bit tight, and the use of the spatula will help to hide that cable. As you can see, I got into the corner of the windshield, what we call the A pillar, and I'm going down that pillar using the spatula to make that cable disappear. And now the GPS antenna is installed. Next is the power cable, and the power cable, I like to feed that towards the driver's side of the vehicle. I'm doing the same process again, feeding the cable into the trim of the car. Notice as I get closer towards the A pillar, I use the spatula because it's a little bit tighter in here. Now some cars do have an airbag in this area, and that can create some difficulties or some dangers, especially for the installer when feeding this cable into this area, and I have made a separate video talking about that and whether an installer A-pillar will go over the airbag or under the airbag, which can tremendously make the installation a lot more complex. However, this car, because it has no airbags on this A-pillar, is gonna make the installation very easy. As you can see, I keep feeding the cable into the trim until it pops out in the bottom. Once it's at the bottom, I'm gonna hide it and secure it with zip ties. Now I'm gonna completely hide this cable to make it look like it's hardwire, but technically right here I could just feed it towards the cigarette lighter port and be done. In this case, I chose to hide it, so I'm gonna feed it behind the trim, and then you can see how I pull that cable and it's gonna disappear behind here. Now in this particular case, the cigarette lighter port is in a very ideal position because I can put this little adapter that the camera came with, connect this, and reinstall any pieces that I removed, such as this coin holder, and this is gonna look very clean. And the next cable is the one for the rear camera, and I feed this cable into the direction of the driver's side. Now I'm hiding the cable into the trim. However, as I get closer towards the A-pillar, I'm gonna run into that same situation again where there might be an airbag in here. So I highly recommend you watch my other video where I cover the issues that an airbag poses when there is a cable nearby it. Notice how I'm going towards the back of the vehicle by pushing the cable into the trim. As I head towards the back of the vehicle, I'm gonna have to make a decision on whether the camera is gonna be installed inside of the vehicle or outside of the vehicle. First, I'll show you what it looks like when I mount this in the inside of the vehicle. Notice how I'm hiding the cable, and in this spot right here, this is a perfect spot where there's a lot of space for me to hide any excess cable. And once all the excess cable is hidden, I can continue towards the center of the rear windshield. Now the rear camera is gonna have some double-sided tape, which I'm simply gonna peel and stick to the windshield. Now I do like to clean the area before with alcohol to make sure it's nice and clean and the camera is gonna stick really good. And finally, I can just hide any excess cable that's left over. And now I can reinstall any covers that I might have removed. This particular car has a very nice center cover that is gonna allow me to conceal all the 3 cables for a nice factory finish. And the dashcam installation is now complete. And while installing the camera on the inside of the vehicle is, in my opinion, the fastest and easiest way, here's what the installation will look like if the camera was to be installed on the outside of the vehicle. So instead of going towards the middle of the windshield, I'm gonna go down this pillar towards the trunk of the vehicle. Notice how installing the camera on the outside of the vehicle is a little bit more complex and involved than installing it on the inside of the vehicle. As you can see in here, I actually had to pull the panel instead of just feeding it with a spatula. I'm pulling with my hand gently so I don't break anything, and I'm feeding the wire, trying to find a hole that will allow this cable to access the trunk of the vehicle. Now I'm inside of the trunk, contorted into a pretzel. And as you can see, I have fished the cable and now it's coming through a hole directly into the trunk of the vehicle. Now I have to find a way for the cable to come out all the way out to the outside of the bumper. On this particular car, I can see that there is some kind of hole that I can feed this cable through. So I'm gonna have to start removing panels. And I'll start with this panel right here, which just pulls right off. Then I'm gonna pull the rug off and inspect to see if I can find an opening that I can fit a cable through. Now some installers will actually drill a hole to get access to the outside of the vehicle. I like to avoid drilling. For example, here I found a plastic cover that I can push off and install the cable right through. So I'm gonna push that cover off, and I have a hole that's gonna lead towards the outside. Here I'm underneath the vehicle and I have found the cable and I'm fishing it out. And I'm pulling on this cable until it comes out, and then it's gonna go towards the center of the rear bumper. Almost there, just a little bit more to go. But I do want to reinstall this grommet, so I'm gonna make a hole in the center of it so the cable is gonna fit through it, and that's gonna allow for the trunk to still have a good seal against water as opposed to just leaving the grommet off. Once I have a hole, I can put the cable right through it, and that allows me to feed that grommet all the way back to where I pulled it from and be able to reinstall it. Now I'm feeding the cable towards the center of the rear bumper, and now we have made it finally towards the outside of the vehicle. I'm gonna clean this area really well with some alcohol, and then I can peel the double-sided tape and place the camera into this location. Then I can connect the camera to the extension cable and begin to hide any excess cable. And from the inside of the trunk, you can see how I'm pushing from the outside, and I'm trying to push that grommet into place so the trunk continues to be sealed against water or any kind of dust. So as you saw, it is a little bit more involved to install the dashcam on the outside of the vehicle versus the inside of the vehicle. Also, you may have noticed that the installation was with the cigarette lighter adapter plug. However, this can be eliminated with the Hardwire kit. Now, the Hardwire kit does have the benefit of enabling parking mode on most dashcams, but the installation can be a little bit more involved. If you guys want to see a video of how the Hardwire installation process looks, I'll put a link to that video in the description down below so you can get an idea what that process is like. And if you guys have any other questions regarding installation of the mirror dashcam, please put that in the comments down below. If you found any part of this video helpful, hit the thumbs up button to support the channel. And remember, I place links in the description down below to all the tools that you saw me use on this video, as well as any products that you may have seen in case you want to check them out. Stay tuned as I have a lot more cool gadgets and dashcam reviews coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.